You know, my dear, when I turned 80 years old, I thought I had already seen every trick life could play on me. My joints complain louder than an old rocking chair. My memory sometimes takes a walk without telling me. And yet, I'm still learning lessons about something as simple as the food I put in my mouth. Funny, isn't it? At this age, you'd think I'd have figured it all out. But no, every day brings a new discovery. And often, it comes with a laugh at my own foolishness. Now, you're 60, which makes me feel like the wise old owl perched on the branch while you're just starting to flap your wings towards senior living. I like talking to you because it reminds me of when I first crossed that line into the so-called golden years. Let me tell you, the only thing golden about it at first was the color of my hair turning white. But I also realized something very important. Food can either carry us gracefully through aging or weigh us down like an anchor. And that's what I want to share with you today. The story of how frozen foods, yes, those innocent-looking little packets sitting in your freezer, almost ruined me, and how I clawed my way back by figuring out which ones are poison in disguise and which ones are secret weapons for keeping my old engine running. Back when I first hit my 60s, I treated my freezer like a treasure chest. Oh, I was proud of it. Opened the door and I had pizzas stacked like playing cards, tubs of ice cream big enough to sink a canoe, and fried chicken ready to be baked whenever I felt like a party for one. I thought I was smart. After all, frozen food meant convenience, and I figured, at my age, I've earned the right not to cook every night. But friend, let me tell you something. That freezer was no treasure chest. It was a ticking time bomb. One evening, I pulled out one of those frozen pizzas. It was pepperoni, my favorite back then. Popped it in the oven, sat down in my recliner, and waited for that smell to fill the house. When it was ready, I ate the whole thing, every slice. I was proud like a soldier who had just conquered a battlefield. But the next morning, I woke up with swollen fingers, a pounding head, and blood pressure so high, the nurse told me I was walking proof of why frozen pizza should come with a warning label. That's when I realized frozen pizza, as cheap and cheerful as it seemed, was not my friend. It was the kind of friend who borrows money and never pays it back. The sodium, the processed meats, the hidden fats, they all ganged up against me. It wasn't just food, it was sabotage. And that was only the beginning. Another time, I thought I'd treat myself to frozen French fries. Crispy, golden, perfect with a little ketchup. I was alone at home, the night was quiet, and I thought, Paul, you deserve this. So I dumped the whole bag on a tray, baked them, and ate until I couldn't move. You should have seen me afterward, friend. I looked like I was pregnant with triplets. My stomach twisted and turned like a washing machine on spin cycle. That night, I spent more time in the bathroom than in bed. If anyone had knocked on my door, I would have told them the French fries staged a mutiny inside me. And don't even get me started on frozen desserts. There was a time when I kept tubs of ice cream for special occasions. But every day started to feel like a special occasion. I'd say, oh, Paul, you survived mowing the lawn today. That's worth a scoop. Or, you made it through Monday, that deserves 2 scoops. Before long, I was standing in front of the freezer with a spoon, digging right into the tub, no bowl in sight. The problem was, sugar doesn't just sweeten your day. It inflames your body, drains your energy, and tightens your waistband until your pants start crying for mercy. I found that out the hard way when my doctor shook his head and told me, Paul, you're letting dessert eat you alive. Then came the frozen dinners. Oh boy, those so-called TV dinners. They looked so tidy in their little compartments. Mashed potatoes, peas, and a piece of mystery meat covered in brown gravy. I thought I was saving time, but what I was really doing was eating a chemistry experiment. Those meals were packed with salt, preservatives, and fats my body didn't know what to do with. The mashed potatoes tasted like wallpaper paste, and the gravy looked like it belonged on a pair of leather shoes. But I still ate them because it was easy. And convenience, my friend, is the silent killer of our age. So there you have it, the 4 worst frozen foods I learned to avoid. Pizzas, fried foods, desserts, and processed dinners. They might save you a few minutes today, but they'll steal years from your life tomorrow. And I don't want you going down the same road I did. But here's the good news, because there's always good news, isn't there? Not all frozen foods are villains. Some are heroes in disguise. And learning which ones to trust is what turned my health around. Take frozen berries, for example. Blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, they're little soldiers fighting off aging from the inside. Full of antioxidants. They keep your memory sharp and your heart strong. Every morning I toss a handful into my oatmeal. The way they melt into the bowl, turning everything purple and sweet, makes me feel like a kid again. And let me tell you, at 80, purple oatmeal is the kind of adventure I still get excited about. Then there's frozen spinach. Don't make that face at me. I know spinach has a bad reputation, but frozen spinach is a lifesaver. Packed with vitamins and iron, it keeps my bones sturdy and my blood moving. I throw it into soups, stir it into scrambled eggs, even sneak it into casseroles. And the best part is, it doesn't wilt in the fridge like fresh spinach does. It's there when I need it, reliable and ready, unlike my memory some days. Frozen salmon is another miracle. Rich in omega-3s, it keeps my brain from turning into mush and helps my joints creak a little less. I like to bake it with lemon and herbs. Simple, quick, and delicious. And every time I eat it, I swear I can feel my mind sharpening. It's like WD-40 for the brain. And of course, frozen vegetables. Bags of peas, carrots, broccoli, nutritious, easy, and long-lasting. I can't tell you how many times frozen veggies have saved me on nights when cooking felt impossible. A quick stir fry, and I've got dinner that keeps my body fueled without dragging me down. You see, my dear, the freezer isn't the enemy. It's about what you choose to put inside it. Fill it with pizzas and fried foods, and you'll pay the price. Fill it with berries, salmon, spinach, and veggies, and you'll thrive, even at 80. Now, before I keep going, let me ask you for a favor. If you're enjoying our little chat, if you've laughed even once or felt like you learned something new, do me a kindness. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know. And besides, your comments give me stories to tell next time we sit down like this again. All right, now that you've done that, let me tell you more. Because this isn't just about frozen food. It's about the choices we make. Even the small ones add up over time. I didn't realize that in my 60s, but I see it clearly now. Every pizza, every scoop of ice cream, every so-called easy meal was writing a chapter in my health story. And when I finally woke up and paid attention, I decided I wanted to rewrite that story. I remember one particular morning. I was 72, and I woke up feeling heavier than ever, inside and out. My knees ached, my back hurt, and I could barely catch my breath just walking to the mailbox. I sat down at the kitchen table, opened my freezer, and stared at the army of frozen junk staring back at me. That was the day I threw half of it in the trash. It felt like a breakup, me saying goodbye to frozen pizza, to fried fries, to those treacherous little desserts. And let me tell you, it was not easy. But sometimes you gotta break up with bad habits to make room for better ones. I replaced them with bags of frozen vegetables, salmon fillets, spinach, and berries. At first, it felt strange. My meals didn't come in little boxes with instructions anymore. I actually had to think about what I was eating. But slowly, my body started thanking me. The swelling in my fingers went down, my blood pressure eased, I had more energy. I wasn't sprinting marathons, but I could mow the lawn without collapsing, and that, at my age, is a victory worth celebrating. And the funniest thing, I actually started to enjoy cooking again. Simple meals, nothing fancy, just food that nourished me instead of draining me down. It felt like coming back to life, one plate at a time. It's about choosing life, choosing energy, choosing to keep laughing and telling stories for as long as possible. And if an old man like me can make that change, so can you. Because at the end of the day, it's not the years that matter most. It's the life inside those years. And with the right choices, we can stretch them out, savor them, and keep on sharing moments like this for much longer.
and I want that for you. Truly, I do. Now, friend, where was I? Ah, yes, the morning I broke up with frozen junk food. That moment was like drawing a line in the sand. On one side, I had all the years of bad choices, cheap, easy meals that made my taste buds happy but slowly wore down my body. On the other side, I had the possibility of something better. I can't tell you it was easy, because it wasn't. My freezer looked empty, almost sad, like it was grieving the loss of its sugary, salty companions. But I knew I had to push through. The first few weeks were the hardest. I'd walk past the grocery store freezer aisle, and those pizzas and ice creams seemed to whisper my name. Paul, just one more bite. Nobody has to know. But I reminded myself, my body would know, my knees would know, my heart would know. And if I wanted to live well into my 80s and beyond, I had to say no. Instead, I found comfort in new habits. I discovered that frozen berries and yogurt tasted just as good as ice cream, maybe even better, because I didn't feel sick afterward. I learned that frozen spinach and scrambled eggs was quick, easy, and surprisingly tasty. And frozen salmon, well, that became my go-to when I wanted to feel like I was treating myself to a fancy dinner without leaving home. One evening, I made a simple plate: baked salmon with lemon, frozen broccoli steamed just right, and a side of quinoa. Nothing fancy, but it filled me up without making me sluggish. When I finished, I leaned back in my chair, patted my belly, and thought, well, Paul, you just gave yourself another day of life. And that thought stuck with me. Every meal became less about filling my stomach and more about adding to my time here, adding to the laughter I could still share and the stories I still had left to tell. You know what's funny? I started noticing little changes. My mind wasn't as foggy in the mornings. I could bend over to tie my shoes without feeling like I needed to call an ambulance. Even my mood shifted. I didn't snap as much when things went wrong. My patience grew. Maybe that was wisdom. Maybe it was the blueberries. I'll let you decide. I'll tell you a story that proves just how powerful these changes were. A few years ago, my granddaughter asked me to come watch her school play. I remember sitting in the auditorium, surrounded by parents half my age, and I realized I didn't feel out of place. I wasn't the tired old man gasping for breath. I was just Grandpa Paul, clapping, smiling, alive in the moment. And all because I'd started choosing foods that gave me strength instead of stealing it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I still have days when I want something sweet or when I miss the smell of pizza in the oven. But I've learned how to balance it. Moderation became my friend. If I do indulge, I don't beat myself up, but I always return to the basics: berries, veggies, fish, and spinach, my 4 frozen allies. Let me give you some practical advice, my dear, because I want you to not only hear my story, but to walk away with tools you can use every day. The next time you shop, make a little list. Under Avoid, write frozen pizzas, fried snacks, desserts, and ready-made dinners. Cross them off your cart before they even tempt you. Under Embrace, write frozen berries, spinach, salmon, and mixed vegetables. Fill your freezer with them, so when you're tired or tempted, you still got good options ready. And don't underestimate how much joy you can find in experimenting. Take those frozen veggies, toss them in a pan with garlic and olive oil, and suddenly you got a dish that feels like it came out of a restaurant. Blend frozen berries into a smoothie and tell yourself it's your magic potion for energy. Bake frozen salmon, squeeze some lemon, and light a candle at the table just for yourself. Eating well doesn't have to feel like punishment. It can feel like celebration. Celebrating the fact that we're still here, still kicking, still telling stories at 60, 70, 80, and beyond. I'll share another moment that hit me deep. I was in my garden pulling weeds, and I realized I'd been out there for an hour without feeling exhausted. That hadn't happened in years. I sat down on the grass, sweat dripping down my forehead, but instead of being tired, I felt proud. The food I had been eating was fueling me, not draining me. And I laughed to myself, thinking, Paul, you're 80 years old and you're out here wrestling with weeds like you're 40. That's when I knew I'd made the right choices. You see, friend, food is not just fuel. It's medicine, it's memory, it's energy. Every bite you take is like casting a vote for the kind of life you want to live. Do you want energy, laughter, long walks, and evenings spent with family? Or do you want pain, fatigue, and doctor visits that take up more time than your hobbies? That's the choice we're making, even when it doesn't feel like it. Now, let me share something personal. There was a time in my 70s when I thought I was running out of time. My health was declining, my energy was fading, and I wondered if I'd make it to see my grandkids grow up. But the changes I made, simple changes, like swapping frozen pizza for frozen salmon, or ice cream for frozen berries, they gave me years back. They gave me energy to play, to laugh, to be present. And isn't that what life is about? Not just surviving, but truly living. I want you to picture this. It's a quiet evening, you open your freezer. Inside, instead of junk, you see bags of berries, salmon fillets wrapped neatly, and spinach ready to cook in, and colorful vegetables waiting to be tossed into a pan. That sight alone will bring you peace, because you'll know that every choice in there is adding to your story, not cutting it short. That freezer becomes your ally, not your enemy. And listen, don't worry if you slip up sometimes. I've done it too. There was a day last year when I gave in and bought a frozen chocolate cake. I told myself it was just for company, but you can guess who ended up eating most of it. Me, of course. Did I regret it? A little. Did it undo all my progress? Not at all, because it's not about perfection, it's about direction. As long as you keep steering yourself back to the foods that serve you, you'll keep moving forward. One last thing, and I say this with all the love in my heart, don't wait. Don't wait for a doctor's warning or a scare to make changes. Start now while you still have the strength, the will, and the time, because every day counts and every meal matters. At 80 years old, I don't measure life by the number of years I've lived. I measure it by the moments. Like this one, sitting here with you, sharing my story, hoping you'll carry these lessons forward. If avoiding frozen pizzas and embracing frozen berries means you and I get to share one more laugh, one more memory, then it's worth every bite. So promise me, friend, next time you open your freezer, you'll think of old Paul. You'll remember that it's not just about convenience, it's about life. And when you choose wisely, you're not just feeding your body, you're feeding your future. Because believe me, at 80 years old, I can tell you, every bite, every choice, every little step adds up. And I want nothing more than for you to enjoy as many of these steps as possible with health, joy, and plenty of laughter along the way. And if you've enjoyed our chat, don't forget, drop me a comment, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. You never know, your words might just be the reason another friend makes a change today. So let's keep going, one freezer choice at a time, toward a life that's not just long, but full of meaning. And remember, frozen pizza may look tempting, but frozen berries will keep you laughing with me for years to come.